What's going on there, friends and neighbors? I am Rob Reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about Episode 3 from Season 11 of The X-Files. Episode 3 is titled Plus One, and wow! What a great episode! Whoa! Oh man, this episode was thrilling. It kept me on the edge of my seat. The pacing in between what's going on between Mulder and Scully and what's going on with this case was handled very, very, very well. And to give you a brief summary of this episode and what goes down during it, people are starting to see doubles of themselves before they turn up dead. How can you turn up dead? Until one person is involved with a car crash and actually survives. And in pure X-Files fashion, Mulder and Scully intervene trying to help this remaining survivor. Unfortunately, this remaining survivor dies, and that's essentially where this episode kicks off. The last little bit of information I will talk about with this episode is the fate of Mulder and Scully and a few characters that are introduced into this episode is all determined by a very twisted game of hangman, played by two rather disturbing twins. And that is all I will say on this episode. There was a lot of good moments in this episode, a lot of really great tension, a lot of great thrills. The episode really keeps you guessing, wondering just how in the heck is this going to end? How is this going to continue on? And one of my favorite parts of this episode, aside from all the tension and the thrills, spills, and trills, is that we get that classic Mulder and Scully back and forth. We get that bickering. We have Mulder the believer and we have Scully the scientist. The beliefs and science meet right in the middle yet again. That is easily the second best part about this episode. Again, the first part being just how thrilling this episode was. It's a race against time to stop this game of hangman, and I'll say this, our agents do cut it pretty darn close. Everything about this episode was awesome up until the ending. It kind of feels like this is somewhat of an abridged version of what the original episode was meant to be. I feel like episode 3 plus 1 really should have been an hour and 30 minutes long and not just an hour long, because it does feel like a lot was trimmed out for time. Now, I could be wrong. It could have been written this way, but if you've seen the episode, doesn't the ending just feel a little tacked on? Felt like it kind of wrapped itself up pretty quickly. Granted, the ending of this episode is very much in tune with the personality of our two main antagonists. But again, it's just something about this ending that just felt just too quick. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this episode. I really, really did. I'm going to give episode 3 plus 1 a 4.5 out of 5. That ending just... Okay, so I'm going to end this video off with some spoilers. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, just skip to this time right here. First thing I want to talk about, Chucky and Judy. What a weird combo. They're playing this game of hangman with people's lives, and it feels like they're just doing it to outfox one another. Who can kill who first? And it's got a really weird power trip to it. Now, both of these characters suffer from split personality syndrome. Judy has a dark side, and Chucky, I think, has a darker side. And overall, the ending of this episode is due to the two having a fight and both of their darker personalities kind of saying, screw you. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. The ending still does feel a tad bit tacked on. Another one of my favorite moments in this episode was the tender moment between Mulder and Scully. Now, it's been a thing between X-Files fans for years now that Mulder and Scully absolutely belong together. They balance each other out perfectly. And we see a little bit of that within this episode. Scully is freaked out by this case because she, in fact, is seeing a double of herself, and later on in the episode, Mulder actually sees a double of himself. So they're both kind of pushed together. Scully is just worrisome, and Mulder just really wants to comfort her. And it leads to a very interesting conversation about what their futures hold for each other and where they're going to be. What's going to happen to them? What if they lose their jobs? I felt that this was very important to showcase in this season, since this is Gillian Anderson's final season with X-Files, which might also just mean that this is the final season of X-Files altogether. And this part really just makes me worried for the ending of this season. I'm really hoping what I'm thinking isn't going to happen. I'm not going to say it because, one, I don't want to be right, and two, I just hate thinking about it. But yeah, what I'm thinking, I really hope that doesn't happen. And those are all the spoilers I'm going to be talking about. So overall, my opinions on this episode are really, really high. But at the same time, I feel like the ending really did feel a little bit too quick, even though the ending was perfectly in tune with the personality of this episode. But I think a 4.5 out of 5 is the best rating for this episode. But anyway, what did you think of the episode plus 1? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you like the twist that we're throwing in there, or did it feel like a bad radio show to you? Comment below, tell me what you think of it. And until next time, everybody, I have been Rob Reviews. Hope you enjoyed, and remember, the truth is out there. The truth is out there.